So we're going to auscultate first before we palpate. Why did I say we want to auscultate before we palpate?
So you don't dislodge.
Yeah, that's going to cause a stroke. These first do no harm, right? Okay, so do I listen with the bell or do I listen with the diaphragm? Yeah, so for bruise, you listen with the diaphragm. Okay, so diaphragm, big guy, it's got the drum thing on there. And so his carotids, it's got his trachea there, his SCM here, and it's about kind of in the middle of that. Listen to the other side. You should be able to hear the heartbeat in there when you listen, okay? So then I listen, and how I feel. Okay, and then what do I say?
No carotid brutes. Carotid pulse is
2+.
2+.
Yeah, so no carotid bruise.
Bruise.
Yeah, it's a French word. What's next?
Inspect supine, 30 degrees with tangential light.
Tangential
Yep.
lighting? Okay, so that means that supine is him laying down on his back, right? 30 degrees up, I'm like, foot rest out.
Inspect precordium at 4 valvular areas and locate PMI.
Okay, and so what you're doing here, have you guys used the light yet? So you have the light. And what you're trying to do is have it help you to visualize, and so you're trying to accentuate like the shadowing, right? So for tangential lighting across the chest, one of the ways that you can kind of tell that you've done it is like you look at the 2 mountain peaks that are like the chesticles, and so you have light, and then you lose light, and you have light again. That means that I'm pretty tangential there, right? And so then where am I looking? I'm looking for the apex of the heart, and so that's going to be the same spot that I'm listening to for the mitral. So that's 5th intercostal space, about mid-axillary line. So 5th intercostal space is going to be just below the nipple area on males, around the area of the inframammillary fold on females. So his clavicle is all through here, so I want to find the midpoint of the clavicle, which is about right here. And I come down here, and so it should be right about right there. And so I'm looking there, I'm trying to see if I'm seeing a pulse. Kind of convince myself that I see something there, right? So tangential lighting is straight across, right? You're just trying to be, just trying to have the light just skip across the top of the skin. All right, so what do I say there?
No lifts or heaves. PMI is not displaced.
So if like this was like super evident, or like I saw that the PMI was down here a little bit closer to like his axillary lines, that would be AB normal. The fact that it I struggled to see it is okay, but it seemed like it was about right there. That's what we wanted, okay? All right, what's next?
Palpate precordium for thrills, 4 valvular areas, PMI if unable to visualize.
Okay, so we're palpating first. So what you do is much like the pulses, you want to use kind of the pads of your fingers. And don't just use one finger. It's helpful to use like a couple of fingers, that we get a little bit more like area to hit. So where's my first target?
Upper right sternal.
Second intercostal.
So second intercostal space on the right sternal border. What structure did I say last week is helpful to figure out where that second intercostal space is?
Angle of Louis.
The angle of Louis. So you can either kind of come down here, so there's clavicle, second intercostal space about right there, or I can come down here and try to feel where's that angle of Louis at. Actually, sternal notch. About right there, and then I come to the side here. So that's about the second intercostal space. And so I'm going to put my fingers here. Okay, and where's my next target?
Second intercostal.
Okay, so just go straight across on the other side. Yep, so no thrills. Where's my next target?
Should be like 3rd or 4th intercostal space.
Yeah, because this one I'm not doing Erb's point, right? Like I'm just going at the actual valves, and so it's going to be 4th intercostal space. So that's, you can either count them down. It's about where the nipple line is. Okay, nothing there. And where's my last target?
I think that was 5th intercostal.
Yeah, so that's where the apex was. And so fifth intercostal space, so inframammillary fold, just below the nipple line area, midclavicular line, so that's about right there. So I'm feeling for a thrill. And then I can feel to see if I can get the point of maximal impulse here. Maybe. Don't feel super awesome. So if somebody doesn't have like a very large heart, you might have a harder time feeling the point of maximal impulse when they're just laying down like this. Okay, so what do I say then?
No vibration / thrills.
So no vibrations or thrills. Okay.
Auscultate with diaphragm at 4 valvular locations and left third ICS.
Okay. So basically the same locations plus Erb's point, right? So second intercostal space on the right sternal border. And so what am I listening to? What valve there? Aortic. And then I listen over here. What am I listening to there? Pulmonic. And so that's second intercostal space. And I can jump down to third intercostal space. So what was I listening to there? So the third intercostal space was Erb's point. And then the fourth intercostal space, that's going to be your tricuspid. And then fifth intercostal space on that midclavicular line is the mitral. Okay. And what do I say? Do I say something now?
No, you said what you need to say.
Okay. So I just, yeah, so you say it as you go. All right, so then what you do is you do it again, listening with the bell. So for the bell, you're gonna flip to the other side. Like I said, if it has the diaphragm on this side, the way that you change from diaphragm to bell is by either pressing it down hard or just letting it rest there slightly. So resting there slightly is bell, pushing down hard is diaphragm. If you wanna make it easy on us so that we know what you're doing, just take this off. Okay. So I'm listening with bell, so same locations. Actually, third, fourth intercostal space, fifth intercostal space. Okay. All right. So next.
Auscultate with bell at 4 valvular locations and left third ICS.
So that was with bell. So I did that one. So next we're gonna have him on his left lateral decubitus. So here, for him to be a lateral decubitus, we have to have the bed flat. And so we're gonna have you go over onto your left side. We're gonna drop the bed down. And so you can do this one of two ways. You can, if you feel really awkward, like leaning over your patient, you can walk to the other side and do it. You're just adding time when you do it that way. It's up to how comfortable you are and how comfortable your patient is with you, okay? So with the bell still, here, where are we listening to? S?
3 and S4.
But where do we listen for that? Yep, so Erb's point. So, about there. And so I'm listening for S3 and S4. The other way you can do this so that you can feel more confident that you're in the right spot is go ahead and turn back over on your back. I'll bring up the 2 different degrees here. There we go. All right, so to make this flow better, so you're already listening with bell, right? Right here. And so you're listening with the bell at the tricuspid location. Okay, I'm gonna have you roll over onto your left side. Keep the bell there. And we're gonna drop the bed down. I'm listening for S3 and S4. Okay. You see how the first time I had to kind of fumble around and figure out where I was again? If you're already there, don't make it harder on yourself. just have the patient move a little bit, okay?
Now move patient to a sitting position. Auscultate for S2 split.
Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and sit up. All right, and so for the S2 split, we're listening with the diaphragm. And where are we listening at? Okay, and so how do we listen for the S2 split? Am I gonna hear it like when he's breathing in? Is that pretty normal? Okay. So breathing in, it's kind of normal to hear it. So I'm gonna have him take a big deep breath in while I'm listening. And I probably, hopefully, should hear a split happen. It'll be kind of like that 3 little hit thing. And then once he's taken that full deep breath in, I'll say, okay, go ahead and exhale and lean forward. So I'll have the stethoscope on his chest and he'll lean forward. And while he's leaning forward and breathing out at the same time, I'm listening to see if that split goes away. I'm listening to see if it goes from that da-da-da to a da-da. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a listen to at Erb's point. So left sternal border, about 3rd intercostal space with the diaphragm. Okay, take a deep breath in and hold it and breathe out and lean forward. Okay, and then what do I say for time?
Listening for S2 split with inspiration, and then no murmur or of aortic regurgitation.
So the lean forward and breathe out, that was for the regurgitation. The breathe in and hold was the S2 split.
So we do it both together, all in one?
Yep.
Verbalize quality.
And so so you can say that they have a regular rate and rhythm without any murmurs, rubs, or gallops. And so, yeah, let's see. Okay.
Return patient to a supine position.
Okay.
Flat.
So we're going to have you lay down flat for us.
Auscultate aorta, renal, iliac arteries for brutes with bell.
Okay. And so to find our locations, again, we want you guys to show that you're measuring, okay? And we're listening with the bell on this one. So I think I said it wrong earlier. So for the carotids, that's the bruit that you listen with the diaphragm. For the rest of the bruits, you're gonna listen with the bell, okay? So for the aorta, it's gonna be find the xiphoid process, so the bottom of the sternum and the belly button, and it's the midpoint between those, okay? And you're gonna be just left of center for the aorta. And so you're listening with the bell.
Patient's left, right?
Okay, so I don't hear any bruits. And so I can move to the renal arteries. And so I can go an inch more to the left.
My left or?
So it's gonna be, oh, sorry. That's right. So I should have been here, right? Because that's his left. So I should have been here at the aorta. And so an inch to the left. And then an inch and a half to the right from where the aorta was. Dyslexia got me today. Okay, so that's the aorta and the renal arteries. So next is going to be the iliac arteries. And so you're going to find the ASIS, which is just that most prominent part of the hip bone on the front, and the umbilicus. And you find the midpoint there. You're going to listen there. You're going to do the same thing over here. Okay. And then the last one that we're going to listen to is, so there you say what?
Aortic, renal, or iliac artery roots.
Okay. So next we're going to palpate the inguinal lymph nodes and the femoral pulses, and then we're going to listen to the femoral pulses with the bell, okay? So like I said, this is the one pulse that I would say definitely wear gloves. The rest of them, I don't really think you should be wearing gloves, okay? So what we can do is we don't have to go underneath the underwear, so we'll just have folks pull up their the waistband of their shorts. So just your shorts. And so you're gonna wanna have your stethoscope on for this. You can take one of your hands and you're gonna feel for the inguinal lymph nodes. And you're gonna feel for an inguinal pulse or femoral pulse. And then leave your finger there and exchange out. And then you can move to the other side and do the same thing over again. So feel for inguinal lymph nodes, feel for the femoral pulse, and then exchange out. And then you're done. So what do you see there?
No inguinal lymph lymphadenopathy.
Lymphadenopathy.
Femoral pulses are second grade. No femoral bruise and bilateral.
So no femoral bruise, bilateral. Okay.
Palpate bilateral peripheral pulses. Brachial, radial, ulnar, popliteal, posterior tibialis, and dorsal pedis.
Okay, so the best way to do this is have your patient have their hands like up on their hips, and that's going to be kind of the same way for like your neuro exam, right? For getting access to all the different spots for your sensory exam. So for the brachial, it's going to be the inner part of the arm bilaterally. So brachial, radial, and then ulnar. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and have you sit up. Actually, no, stay down. Go ahead and bend your knees. Bend this knee. And you feel for the popliteal pulse. This one's kind of hard. So don't get too discouraged if you can't get it. The other reason that you want to do it this way is your cardiac exam moves into your abdominal exam. And one of the things about your abdominal exam is it has to be done with the knees bent the entire time to keep the abdominal muscles from being tensed. If you do your abdominal exam with the legs out, you don't get credit for anything you do with the legs out. And so this is kind of like one of those checkpoints for you when you're going through the whole thing. It's like, okay, I got their legs bent. Now I don't have to worry about that as I go into the abdominal exam. I get that one better. Okay, so popliteal, and so you would have your socks and shoes off here. All right, forgot that. Got 2 more pulses, and then. So lie back down, and then bend your knees. All right, so once he's bent his knees, I'm not gonna move them again. So then what you can do is your posterior tibial, those are usually pretty easy. And then the dorsal pedal are the ones that are a little bit more difficult. So between the first and the second metatarsal, oh, there's pretty easy. Yeah, those guys there. Okay, so what do I say?
You just say them as you go.
As I go? Okay. So next we're gonna do check for tibial edema and skin temperature. And so skin temperature, you're gonna use the back of your hands, right? So skin temperature is warm. And then for the edema, just here on the tibia, you're just gonna take your thumbs and you're gonna press for like 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4, and come out. And you'd say,
Skin is warm, no tibial edema, bilateral.
no tibial edema, bilateral. Okay. And so then the last thing we do is we check the nail beds and do cap refill. And so we can just check both hands. Just go ahead and put your hands on here. So we do the thumbs here, squeeze that. And so they can just do 1 finger on each side.
Yeah.
Is that enough? Yeah. And then same thing down here, as long as their nails aren't painted. Otherwise, if their nails are painted, you can kind of just go to the side here and kind of get the same thing done. And then while you're doing that, you should be looking at all the nails for any clubbing or cyanosis.
You're gonna say no peripheral cyanosis or clubbing. Cap refill is less than 2 seconds bilaterally.
Okay. So that's the whole cardiovascular exam. Then you roll into the abdominal examination in the same position. Any questions on that? Any things that you want to see again?
Yeah, clarifying question for the auscultating the aorta, renal, iliac arteries. You said it's the diaphragm for the first one and the bell for the rest?
Yes, so diaphragm for the carotids, and then the bell for the rest of them.
Okay.
One quick question. When listening for auscultating with the bell at S3, S4, are we listening at herbs point for that?
For S3, S4, that's at Erb's point. Yeah. Right. No.
Wait, yeah,
That's the apex. So that was the apex. So that was the one where you're listening with the bell while they're at the 30 degrees.
Okay.
And then you have them turn over. You stay at the apex, and then you drop the bed down. So you just don't move.
Okay.
For Erb's point, that's where you're listening for the split, the S2 split, and aortic regurgitation.